Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. The frantic river search for missing teen Cheyenne Lee Tatnall has been paused as police follow new leads in the 14-year-old's disappearance. Investigators say a 2.5-week search of the North Esk River has found no sign of her.
A grim warning as desperate search efforts are wound back.
We have to be realistic about the fact that the longer she is missing, then the chances of finding her alive become less and less.
Police have gone over the North Esk River with a fine-tooth comb in a mammoth effort, even stopping traffic in hopes of jogging memories. But it seems Cheyenne Lee Tatnall has disappeared without a trace.
And that's probably the most terrifying part of missing people investigations is, will we ever find the answer? We absolutely hope that we do.
The Criminal Investigations Branch of Tasmania Police will now take over, working to piece together what happened to her more than 2.5 weeks ago.
But we're still appealing for the public to provide us any information they can because we will investigate every piece of information that comes in.
Police are pleading for drivers who are here on the Henry Street Bridge on the evening of April 30 to get in contact, saying new leads will be key to cracking the case.
Please come forward because we have to find out who you are and if to discount you from any investigation down the track.
Hoping to give Cheyenne's mother the answers she's looking for.
She's extremely upset. She just wants to know what's happened to her daughter.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian Labor says it will move a vote of no confidence in the Premier when Parliament returns for the budget. The state government was plunged into minority after 2 Liberal backbenchers quit the party last week. Lara Alexander and John Tucker both flagging concerns over the proposed Macquarie Point Stadium.
And the first thing the Parliament should be doing is testing whether the Premier has the confidence of the majority members of the House of Assembly.
Parliament returns on Tuesday. Community outcry has triggered the state's health union to launch protest action regarding the closure of St Helens Private Hospital. It comes as a leading physician warns Tasmania is struggling to retain enough doctors to keep our public hospitals running efficiently.
The harrowing reality of a significant cut to mental health services is laid bare.
They save lives. They change people's lives to overcome their conditions.
In an attempt to save the vital healthcare that will be lost due to the closure of St Helens Private, the union will stage a rally next Tuesday.
Losing 39 beds out of our health system will be diabolical for southern Tasmania. We need to see the government intervene to guarantee that those beds will remain open.
With the important portfolio weighing on his shoulders, the Premier insists people won't be left behind.
We will continue to ensure that we maintain a good level of service that was provided previously by St Helens Private Hospital.
But political opponents have taken a swipe over what they claim is a lack of effort.
We were really unhappy at the Minister's response last week in Parliament, which indicated there has been no serious investigation by the THS of taking over St Helens Private facility.
The push comes as public sector doctors have a fight of their own on their hands, following an overwhelming vote to reject the government's latest wage offer.
Our conditions have fallen way far behind the other states. Now, doctors aren't greedy. We know that people are doing it tough, but right now our problem is that we can't actually get enough doctors to stay in Tasmania to keep the hospitals running properly.
In a matter of weeks, the top bosses of the state's 2 major hospitals have announced their resignation, with those working on the front line expressing concern for the future of senior leadership in the sector.
And the grass is so much greener interstate at the moment, and it's sad because we can offer so much for our, obviously, medical workforce, for our Tasmanian patients, but we can't do it without the staff.
The agreement doesn't finish until July, so it gives us time to sit down in a very sensible and measured way to work through these issues.
The threat of more industrial action now looming. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A Moona man has been charged following an alleged shooting in Glenorchy yesterday afternoon. The 34-year-old has been slapped with several firearms offences. The guns have since been seized by police. Meanwhile, a separate incident in the northern suburbs has seen a 27-year-old man charged with stealing a motorbike and driving offences. Anyone who saw a dark motorcycle driving dangerously in the area between 2 and 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon is urged to come forward. The state government says it's working with Master Builders Tasmania to develop a home warranty insurance scheme. It comes after the recent liquidation of multi-res builders left a number of clients in the lurch.
There's certainly work for contractors who were expecting to do that work, but they need the right employment and financial, if you like, security around them to be able to go and complete those jobs. So there's a role there for government.
Master Builders says although the sector is in a very strong position, the news is a terrible outcome for customers. Anyone affected by the situation is encouraged to contact CBOS. Maternity services in the northwest will return to being administered by the state government, effective from December, 12 months earlier than planned. It comes after harrowing accounts of birthing experiences at the Northwest Private Hospital emerged earlier this year.
Some of the Northwest's most anticipated arrivals soon to be delivered back into the hands of the Public Health Network. The changes due by the end of the year, 12 months ahead of schedule.
Today is very good news for our mums and bubs across the northwest coast.
Maternity services all coming together under one umbrella.
Better for mums, better for babies, better for the community, and a more sustainable service for the northwest coast.
It will strengthen our maternity service workforce and provide greater choice for our mothers along the coast.
It's a move welcomed by the Midwifery Union following years of concerns that became public earlier this year.
The government have recognised that bringing birthing back into the public sector is best not only for women and their babies but also for a robust workforce and best for the northwest region.
But they're still proceeding with caution, calling for more action and information going forward.
The important thing is now that we do it well and that there is continuity of services when the transition takes place.
We want to see more support around investment in career pathways in midwifery on the northwest coast, but also better support for the staff there.
Those due between now and December are being reassured their care will continue as normal, and for expectant mothers around the time of the switch, tailored pathways will be put in place. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
The federal government is spruiking its latest policy, which it says will make it easier for Tasmanian small businesses to get their taxes done. $9 million was allocated in the federal budget for tax clinics, with 5 new services set to open. The federal small business minister touring the university's Hobart Clinic, which will benefit from the funding.
This is where they can get some initial advice, some assistance preparing their activity statements if required, but also, as we've just heard, importantly for those people who, may not have done a return when they should have.
The minister also says his small business energy incentive will give thousands of local companies relief from soaring energy prices. AFL power broker Eddie McGuire says Tasmanians should be given until grand final week to decide if they want to build the proposed Macquarie Point Stadium. As the project causes political chaos across the state, the ex-Collingwood president warned the team won't happen unless the $715 million venue is built.
None of the clubs wanted this originally,
no, they didn't.
And still they went, no, we'll do it. It's going to blow the competition up, right? And everyone's prepared to do it, but not if these people don't want it.
McGuire also defended the AFL's role, saying it used its political capital to get the licence approved. Jobs up for grabs are on the rise, according to new data released by SEEK. Its latest employment report showed ads were up on last month by 1.3% across the state. The figures bucking the national trend, with Western Australia and South Australia the only others recording an uplift. Tasmania also saw a strong 8.8% spike in healthcare and medical job availability. A group of up-and-coming motorcyclists now has the keys to staying safe on the road. The young Tasmanians today graduating from a program designed to break down barriers and reduce road carnage.
Taking young motorists off the streets and putting them back on the roads with more knowledge and skills around safety.
We
try to identify riders who are riding illegally, dangerously or unregistered.
These 8 students have successfully completed the Full Gear motorcycle program. The 6 hours of lessons testing participants on observation, anticipation and response.
What sorts of things have you learned?
A lot of stuff to do with drug and alcohol abuse on the roads, a lot of things to do with how cars and trucks view bikes on the roads.
We also talk a lot about the attitude to riding. For example, we discourage people going out for a RAS to blow off some steam. That's not the time you want to ride. You want to be hydrated, eating well, sleeping well.
Each individual also equipped with $400 worth of safety gear and compensated for their pre-learners test. The course is run by the Glenorchy City Council and Buchan Community House, with support from a $53,000 community road safety grant.
This program has now spread to Circular Head and Launceston, I think Devonport. The program is being noticed around the state. I believe this program will be noticed around the country.
It's hoped the program will prevent a repeat of last year, which saw 10 motorcyclists killed on Tasmanian roads.
Motorcyclists this year so far, the serious crashes are up about 35% on last year.
Authorities say there's room for more to join in, encouraging anyone interested to come forward. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The final dates and times of Tasmania's AFL games for this season have been locked in. North Melbourne will host Melbourne in Hobart on Sunday, August 6 in the early slot of 1:10. Hawthorn faces the Bulldogs the next week on August 13 in Launceston, also a Sunday game at 1:10. The next game in our state is this Sunday when the Hawks play West Coast. In the TSL, Launceston says its youth has found confidence after a nail-biting win against Lauderdale. The reigning premier is hosting cellar dweller Glenorchy this weekend at Windsor Park, but they're taking nothing for granted.
I feel most teams will still want to come out and beat us, as we've been a successful team over the past 3 years, so don't take anyone lightly.
The winless Magpies are keen to build on what they've learned this year, with the club producing a few competitive efforts so far.
I think we're getting closer, like against Clarence, probably nearly pinched one. But yeah, it's keeping the belief. Probably the main thing for us is keeping this group together.
The first bounce is at 1 o'clock on Saturday at Windsor Park. One of footy's most one-sided rivalries is set for another chapter. The Northern Tasmanian Football Association has never beaten its coastal rival, the North West Footy League, in 6 encounters. It's a record the North West is keen to keep. 2019 at Invermay Park. The site of the biggest screamer in representative footy, but the NWFL has had all the cheering against their Launceston-based rivals.
We've got a rich history in rep footy here on the coast.
Bernie's Bailey Bogue is debuting for the North West and says players have instantly left old rivalries at the door.
It's the best players within our competition, so the training quality's been really good.
Despite only having 7 teams to draw from, the NWFL has never lost to the NTFA. The closest has been a draw. The NTFA has 19 teams to choose from across 2 divisions. So is this the squad to finally turn things around?
They've had a brilliant level of football down the coast for as long as I've been around. I just think it makes for a great recipe for a really high-level game.
Go out there and have a crack this weekend.
Jack Donnellan was part of Longford's flag-winning team and suited up against the SFL last year, a game the Northerners won.
Your teammates you don't really know, and yeah, it's good to come together and build that friendship.
Devonport will make up a large chunk of the northwest side, along with Wynyard and Burnie, while you can expect Longford, Hillwood, Rocherlea and South Launceston to fill out the NTFA.
You come to that first training and you're like, oh, we're all pretty fierce rivals, but now we've all sort of gelled and mingled. I think will be a really good side.
The venue, Devonport Oval, Saturday at 2 p.m. And a future Supercars superstar will share the track with his idols at Symmons Plains this weekend. Harrison Sellers is the only Tasmanian racing full-time in this year's Formula Ford series, putting him right in front of the major teams. When Harrison Sellers hops into his Formula Ford, the Year 12 student's world transforms.
Just love that sensation of putting the helmet on, everything goes away and you just
driving. That's all you've got to focus on, is just driving.
So far, that driving has been solely on the mainland. From tomorrow, he'll finally have the chance to compete in front of family and friends.
As soon as I saw it come out on the calendar, I knew this is the race that I really want to perform at.
In fact, Symmons Plains is the only round on the Formula Ford calendar which lines up with the Supercars series, which makes living out this boyhood dream that little bit more special.
Always loved anything that moves, cars, trains, boats, planes. And it was kind of like one day I said to Dad, I'd love to go try this, and it kind of just snowballed from there.
His team is surrounded by motorsport. Sponsor ACL Bearings even makes some of the Supercars parts, but it's Sellers Racing IQ which will help out most on the track.
Because it's so short, you've got to really make sure you nail each 3 corners. It's not like a track that has 20 corners where you have time to make it back up over the lap, so you really got to be on your game.
Those in the top game are ready to hit the tarmac too. Mark Winterbottom's raced in Tassie 46 times at Supercars level, his peak being victory in 2010.
Pulled a couple of new tricks out of the bag today.
The layout, conditions, wind direction, so many factors that make it a really tough event.
Frosty and Team 18 are hoping to turn around a horror show in Perth where they finished well down the order. They've put the cars through their paces since then.
These cars, they're very sensitive, so it's not like you have to build new components, you just have to understand what you got.
While teammate Scott Pies got a new livery for this round, the main focus though is on how the car's brakes hold up.
It's got 2 massive stops with the hairpin in the last corner. I think it'll be interesting to see how these cars handle it.
A good run-in on one of the nation's most testing tracks. And for those heading along tomorrow, Kim, the gates open at 9:30.
It is going to be a big couple of days. Thank you very much, Tom.
Good evening. Hobart, Launceston and Burnie all 14 today. Devonport, King Island and Friendly Beaches our top. 15 degrees. -5 at Lyawini, the low, and a pretty cold start everywhere today. Flinders Islands and Helens Grove and Bushy Park 14. Low Head and Strawn 13, but Lyawini did climb 12 degrees to reach a high of 7. Some cloud over our west and also clear for the rest of the state until late afternoon. A bit of cloud wafting over towards the east. We can see the frontal cloud heading our way. Some low cloud evident over southeastern Australia and southern WA. Tomorrow the cold front weakens as it moves off to our northeast. A high to the south of Western Australia has a broad area of influence. Winds south-southwesterly, so cool ones 10 to 20 knots, light winds inland. Forecast for tomorrow, 12 and an early shower for Hobart. Same for Huonville, 12 degrees for Campania after 3 overnight. 2 to 13 the range for Launceston, a partly cloudy day tomorrow. Devonport becoming cloudy, 13 the maximum. Georgetown 13 as well. Burnie expecting 13 and partly cloudy. Showers though for Strawn 12. Wynyard partly cloudy 13. St Helens tomorrow. A shower or 2 and 13. Cloudy for Swansea, a top of 12 for Port Arthur. To the weekend now, and on Saturday early showers over the west and far south, extending to most districts by evening. Showers easing on Sunday and contracting to the west and far south in the morning. Strong southwesterly winds again. Mainly fine on Monday, which doesn't help our weekend at all. 26 and sunny for Perth. A cool showery day for Adelaide and Melbourne. Sunny in Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Partly cloudy, 11 degrees in Hobart, 8 degrees in Launceston, cloudy in Devonport as well, and 11. Kim, I'm planning to work all week, so I'll be back tomorrow night.
Oh, very much looking forward to that. Bring on Friday.